Carole Bildet. I joined the group in 2018 after spending 4 years at Chloé as the Global Brand Strategy and Communication Director, where I also had the chance to build and successfully launch the first Chloé e-commerce. I previously spent 15 years in advertising, first at Ogilvy, then at BUTC, Havas Group. 15 years during which I experienced the power of strong brands and inspiring creation. I've been the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer of Veuve Clicquot since 2018. Beyond the renowned champagne brand, I've discovered a luxury maison with a wonderful history of savoir-faire, innovation, and a unique legacy dedicated to empowering women. My role is to engage people into this journey and make Veuve Clicquot the most desirable luxury brand beyond the champagne category. How to be the most desirable brand should be our obsession. It's all about that. It's all about desire. That's my brand management vision. When you take care of a brand that's 250 years old, it's a complex equation. You have to be very clear about who you are, where you come from, and then build upon its solid foundations. Sometimes when you have such history, you might be tempted to believe that everybody knows and that you have to focus on novelty to build excitement. It's not enough. You need to give depth and purpose, express it clearly and loudly, and bring concrete proof of it. No matter how old you are, you have to be very clear on the role you play in your category and more widely in the luxury space. I like to ask the question, what would the world miss if your brand suddenly disappeared? It appears very simple at first, but calls for serious work on purging and making choices. Starting with identity. Veuve Clicquot has this chance to play in the league of the rare brands who have an iconic color. This Clicquot yellow is an amazing asset. When you enter a shop, you recognize it immediately. And given the fact that we are a wholesale business, this is key. But beyond recognition, what does this yellow stand for? Our Clicquot yellow, present on our bottle label since 1877, is the color of the rising sun. It is a nod to energy, audacity, and to the profound conviction that each new day offers fresh possibilities, a legacy of Madame Clicquot's optimism. As you can see, the yellow has more depth than just being a color. Which brings us to the question of legacy. Strong brands usually have a founding myth in their history, one which is defining the whole journey. Ours is called Madame Clicquot. She was not the founder of the company, yet everything started with her when in 1805 she took the reign of the maison after the death of her husband. She was 27, she had a little girl, and at this time women did not have the right to work or even hold a bank account. However, she revolutionized the sector through major innovation. She had to face numerous obstacles before she was respected and ultimately named La Grande Dame of Champagne. Our story is one of boldness, creativity, and entrepreneurial spirit. And then we turn legacy into culture. In 2022, we celebrated our 250th anniversary, a marker in time, a unique moment of dialogue between past and present, for which we decided to highlight 250 years of audacity and entrepreneurship. A solaire culture of joy and optimism, shared through an ambitious, immersive traveling exhibition, a deep dive into the heritage, savoir-faire, and cultural imprint from 772 to the present day. 10 women artists were commissioned to celebrate Madame Clicquot's remarkable achievements and offered their contemporary vision of a 19th century influencer who paved the way for generations of female entrepreneurs. The exhibition traveled to Tokyo, Los Angeles, and London, and was called Solaire Culture, of course. And finally, culture becomes commitment. Brand management in luxury is indisputably linked to the question of commitment. A luxury brand has to be a committed house. Commitment has to be sincere. It has to be linked to who you are and to what you believe in, but not because you're forced into it. If your commitment is not sincere, people will see it immediately, and that is worse than not saying anything at all. Commitment also has to be concrete. It has to have facts. It can't just be pretty words in PowerPoint presentations. Our commitment is to bring our active support to female entrepreneurs around the world since 1972. 50 years. So far, we have honored more than 450 women in 27 countries with our Bold Women Award. And we have now extended the program to Bold Conversation, Bold Podcast, and mentoring sessions, to name a few. Our obsession with our Bold program is to gain impact with our actions and push boundaries. There are three ways to master and control Veuve Clicquot identity, codes, and experience when there is almost no retail. One of the key challenges we have in the wine and spirit sector is that we have almost no retail, which means no direct control of merchandising, of the customer experience, of the brand speech. The search for coherence is a real challenge when you are unable to control the channels. The question then becomes, how do you build a consistent experience? We don't expect all countries to have the same execution. We have set up a global strategy with 50% content being produced centrally and 50% being produced locally for local relevancy, but never compromising the message we communicate. There is only one brand ID with one common history and legacy and common codes. I would like people to be surprised by the richness and diversity of executions when in contact with the brand, but I don't expect them to reconciliate the stories. The brand ID and platform have to be 100% crystal clear. Having a bold and simple message helps to address such a challenge. Having all markets embrace it. Simply said, Veuve Clicquot is solaire, an invitation to dream big, bright and beautiful. Creativity has to play a central role in luxury brand management. For a champagne brand, this question is not an easy one, since you cannot easily play with the product itself. Considering that you have a minimum of 3 years aging in our cellars before proposing your product on shelves, and it's a minimum, you have to consider other options. Packaging, for instance. The story of Veuve Clicquot is made of stunning collaborations with renowned designers who have created amazing bespoke objects for us. André Putman, the Campana brothers, Mathieu Lehaneur, Karim Rachid, and Yayoi Kusama. The story started in 2006, when Yayoi Kusama did a masterpiece of Madame Clicquot's portrait. For the launch of our vintage 2012 Prestige Cuvée La Grande Dame, she accepted to design the case and the bottle using her iconic symbols, flowers and polka dots. A joyous flower wraps around La Grande Dame bottle, and this same symbol of energy, a tribute to the nature that both Madame Clicquot and Yayoi Kusama hold dear, also takes shape as a special object that elevates La Grande Dame Cuvée in Magnum. Through this outstanding creation, through the poem the artist wrote for us, we have done more than design a product. We have spread a message of hope and optimism to the world. It's all about giving a purpose and some depth, and people have welcomed this universal message with great enthusiasm. The main ingredient for the success of a brand today is with no hesitation to reinforce your fundamentals. The stronger the brand, the better we will withstand our category's economic fluctuations. Do less but better, craft even more desirable products and bring more exclusivity on products and experiences. Loudly claim who you are and what you stand for, simply but loudly. Our platform stands in one word: solaire.